Hey, Skip. My mama said she's watching and listening to you. Shannon, she said you were on point, hashtag just a matter of time. And T.O. responded to a video of Shannon saying he should be in the Hall of Fame with the mic drop emoji. We're joined by Hall of Famer Cris Carter. Welcome, Cris.
How are you?
Good. Should T.O. be in the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely. I mean, he should have got in the first ballot Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And the reason why, because there was a certain standard that was set as far as receivers. And it's changed through the years because over the last 40 years, every decade, they throw the football more. So the numbers are a little skewed, but it's still a numbers game. It's a team game. Yes, you'd like to win. You'd like to have all these other things, but it's a game of numbers. That's why they keep the stats. And for wide receivers, there have been a couple little barriers that if you go over that number, it would put you in a conversation as far as are you a Hall of Famer? All right, it used to be 1,000 catches. All right, it used to be 100 touchdowns. It used to be 13,000, 12,000 yards. All those things would guarantee you a spot in Canton. But now, given some of the receivers that we've seen over the years who had to wait, and it didn't start with just my generation receivers, it started with Lynn Swann, the long wait that he had. John Stallworth, the long wait that he had. Art Monk, the long wait that he had. The only people that were kind of granted to get in were Steve Largent. As far as receivers the last 30 years, him and Jerry Rice were the only two first ballot Hall of Famers. Now, I think there should have been more, but they changed whatever the rules were. But T.O. has gone beyond what you would measure, is a guy a Hall of Famer? Yes, T.O. is a Hall of Famer. Now, T.O.'s not a person that he doesn't like me. He made a quote last year that I begged to get into the Hall of Fame. You don't have to beg to get in. The numbers speak for themselves. So T.O. should be in the Hall. He should have gotten in last year, but there is a thing called a list. There is a thing called a log jam. You know, he's lucky that he's up now compared to when Tim Brown, myself, and Andre Reed were all on the list. We cleared out Marvin Harrison last year. So we've cleared out kind of the wide receivers. Now this year, do they do an offensive lineman? They do a couple running backs, but T.O. should be in the Hall of Fame.
1,000% he should be in. When you retire with the second most receiving yards in the history of the game, the third most yards in the history of the game, not the third most receiving touchdowns in the history of the game. I mean, I don't really know what else. His 1,078, he's eighth now, but upon his retirement, He was a lot higher. Skip, the guy was a 5-time first-team All-Pro. He's one of 2 other players, so it's 3 players that's been an All-Pro on 3 different teams. Deion Sanders, greatest corner in history. Boom. Ted Hendricks, the Stork. And one, Terrell Eldorado Owens. Led 5 different teams in receiving. I don't want to disrespect anybody because I'm a history of the game. I've studied the game, and I've played against some of the all-time greats. In my book, that man that's in the monitor is the second greatest receiver to ever play. He did not cheat you when he got on the field. He would block, and he never said, I play when I want to. Look, you might not like his antics. Maybe he celebrated. Maybe that rubbed you. Maybe that rubbed people the wrong way. But when the Skip, you say, what did he do in the regular season? Well, I just gave you his numbers. What about the playoffs? Does anybody remember that wild card game against the Giants?
I was there.
They were down 24 points in the third quarter. T.O. goes 9 for $177 and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
What about the 98 game? We all remember it. He caught it in the Super Bowl.
I was there.
9 for $122. And people say, man, that dude's selfish. What guy you know breaks his leg 6 weeks earlier, does around-the-clock treatment to get on the field? Because you remember the guys that Donovan McNabb was throwing the ball to.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Mitchell, they called himself Fred X. Just in case everybody didn't know, that Super Bowl was the last game Freddie Mitchell ever played. He was also throwing the ball to a guy named Todd Pinkston. I won't tell you what we used to call him, but that Super Bowl was the last game he ever played. He was also throwing to a guy named Greg Lewis. Greg Lewis played 8 years in the National Football League. Only once did he catch more than 25 passes.
He caught a big one in that game, got him back in the game late.
I see your point.
Did Terrell play in the first 2 playoff games that they had to win to get to the Super Bowl?
No,
He did not.
but he already had 15 touchdowns before he got him, because he already got him the first #1 seed doing what he did.
You done?
I'm finished and done.
Okay, first of all, I would like to apologize to Terrell Owens' mother because, as they said in Anchorman, let's not get the mothers involved in this. Thank you very much. But I want to be clear about this, just so you know. We went at it yesterday. I was shocked by your passion for this and your stance on this. You basically went to, they should burn down the Hall of Fame if Terrell is not in.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, no, they should burn it down if he gets in, but that's just me. So here's the point. This stance of mine on Terrell Owens is not a new stance. I have had it for years, and I have debated Terrell face-to-face twice on national TV at length about this. So just so you know, I know Terrell's stance on this, and he definitely knows mine, and we have gone back and forth, and it didn't change my mind, and it obviously didn't change Terrell's. And I think there's been an effect of, I've actually helped turn Terrell into something of a sympathetic figure. That's what I think. That's just my 2 cents from a distance, because I do think he'll get in this time, and there's some sympathy vote to it because it felt like he got sort of dragged through the mud the first time. You know, it was rough on him. You guys have gone through it. How many? It took you 6 times, so you, right?
Yeah, I
It
got
took
declined
you
5
three times. So you guys have known the pain of having to sit through that whole Saturday afternoon waiting for a call that doesn't, right? It's rough, man. That'd be torture. That'd be horrible. And there'd be some moment where you just say, I don't know if I'm ever going to get in this, right?
Yep.
Okay, so but before I get back to Terrell, understand my stance on this, because you guys are looking from the inside out, and I'm looking from the outside into this. For me, it's not the Hall of Very Good, and I feel like that's where we're going. That's where the NBA's went. It went to the Hall of Very Good. It became come one, come all. Anybody in the NBA, it just seems like marginal players end up getting in the Hall of Fame just because they played for 14 or 15 years. I don't want my Hall of Fame to look like that. I want the elite. I want the transcendent. I want special players to be in my Hall of Fame. I don't want come one, come all. I don't want forgive and forget. I don't want, oh, we feel sorry for you, so let's finally put you in the Hall of Fame.